Welcome to Revenza Tales, where betrayal and fierce comebacks burn within your soul. Smash subscribe, bell ring, and tell friends who battle for their truth. Picture believing in family, only to discover their love is all about a secret plan. What would you do to defend your own? Hold on tight for a story of love, lies, and unshatterable determination. My name is Leia, and I've got a tale burning within me, a warning to my mother-in-law Marlene, to keep far, far away from my family. It's about how far things can possibly go when someone you believe in does something wrong, and how you'll find the courage to fight back. It begins in a serene Colorado suburb, where the mountains cast long shadows and secrets are kept in plain view. One morning, I woke up to my mom calling, her voice full of excitement. "Leia, you won't believe who I met at the coffee shop," she exclaimed. She'd met her college buddy Marlene, after all these years. They struck up a conversation, and when they discovered their kids, myself and Marlene's son, Noah, were single, they came up with a matchmaking scheme. I rolled my eyes at the thought, a setup?
Geez?
I was 28, a graphic designer trudging through freelance work, building a life in Colorado. The last thing I needed was Mom interfering with my love life. But she would not leave me alone. "Noah's a good guy, Leia. Give him a chance." 7 days later, I found myself in a quaint coffee house in downtown Boulder, fidgeting with my latte. Noah came in, warm brown eyes and a diffident smile that made my heart do flips. He was 30, a secondary school history teacher who could make even dull tales sound epic. We were uncomfortable at first, giggling over our mom's ambush. And then we spoke, really spoke, connecting over hiking the Flatirons and playing indie music loudly on late-night drives. By the time the sun set, making the sky orange, we were so immersed in conversation the barista prodded us out. That initial date became weekly rendezvous, hikes, concerts, diner burgers slathered in grease under neon lights. Noah had a listening way about him, as if every sentence I uttered counted. If I said I loved a band, he'd produce tickets from thin air. If I went on about a difficult client, he'd nod along, ask follow-up questions, never shutting me down. I'd spent my whole life with just Mom, who'd raised me fiercely independent after Dad ditched us when I was a child. That made me want a real family, one that holds together. Noah was the missing piece I'd been searching for. After 2 months, my heart belonged. On one of our hike starry nights, I just blurted out, "So, you want to be my boyfriend or what?" His smile brightened the night.
Hell yeah, Leia.
We were a couple, and our moms were in seventh heaven, congratulating themselves on their matchmaking skills. But then, too, I sensed something was not quite right about Marlene. She'd hugged me in greeting when we met, but her eyes had a cutting edge, as if she was measuring me up. Mom had told me tales of Marlene's bossy behavior at college, a nurse who commanded her hospital ward as if she were a drill sergeant. I thought it was just her personality, but it seeded a fear. I shoved it aside. Noah was all I ever wanted, and I wasn't going to let an intuition kill it. Noah and I were a pair for 2 years, creating life like an indie tune, raw, honest, full of heart. We'd hike outside Boulder, dreaming of the future. We dreamed of family, of a home filled with laughter, the kind I never experienced. Noah spoke of educating our children about history. I'd doodle nursery concepts in my journal. We were of the same mind, penning our own page. But Marlene's shadow loomed. First, she was beaming, inviting us over for her signature pot roast, exclaiming how well suited we were for each other. Then there were the stabs, the paper cuts.
Leia, still freelancing?
"Must be lovely to create your own schedule," she'd say, her voice heavy with disapproval. Or, "Noah's always been old-fashioned. Hope you're keeping the house up." I'd brush it off, but it nagged me. Mom taught me to be independent, but Marlene made me feel like I was flunking some test. I talked to Noah one night, stretched out on our couch, Chinese containers littered. "Your mom's been strange, like she's judging me constantly." His expression grew intense, conflict in his eyes. Noah loved his mom, she'd brought him up alone after his dad died, and he owed her everything.
But he pinched my hand.
"She has no right to make you feel belittled, Leia. I'll have words with her." I don't know what he said, but the next time we saw Marlene, she was warm once more, doling out extra servings at dinner, inquiring about my new design project. I breathed out, thinking I'd been wrong. Then our wedding, a quiet, beautiful day in a friend's backyard, fairy lights shining beneath Colorado stars. I had on a white sundress. Noah couldn't stop smiling while we exchanged vows. For a moment, Things were as they should be.
But life is unpredictable.
A few months later, a flash flood swept through Marlene's apartment building, rendering her homeless.
Noah didn't waver.
She's got nowhere else to live, Leia. We need to take her in. My gut tightened, but I agreed. I wanted to be that wife who jumped in, starting the family I'd always envisioned. So Marlene moved into our guest room, her cartons of trinkets and med school texts spilling over into our comfortable house. It wasn't so bad at first. Marlene made dinners, we'd sit around together watching old films.
But then I became pregnant, and everything changed.
Noah and I were elated, our dream of having a family realized. We'd lie in bed, his hand on my belly, whispering names for our baby. But morning sickness hit hard. I dragged through work, barely keeping food down, coming home too exhausted for chores. Marlene noticed, and her sharpness returned, worse than before. Leia, the kitchen's a mess, she'd snap.
You can't just lie around all day.
I tried to explain. My legs were swollen, my head pounded.
But she'd roll her eyes.
I worked during my entire pregnancy with Noah. You're young. You'll cope, Marlene replied, her tone as thin as a knife. One day, I returned from work early, my body hurting so much I couldn't stand. I fell onto the couch, hoping for a minute of peace. Marlene burst in, her tone as harsh as a whip. Leia, the washing's building up. What's your excuse now?
I gazed at her, throat constricted.
Marlene, I'm hurting. I can hardly move. She sneered, folding her arms.
Pain.
You're milking this pregnancy for attention. Get up and do your job.
I snapped.
You have no idea what I'm going through. This isn't a game.
Her eyes widened, but she didn't back down.
Don't raise your voice at me. I'm just a guest here, but you're letting this house fall apart. I was shaking, tears burning my eyes. Noah came home just then, keys jingling as he stepped inside. He noticed me, noticed the tension, and his eyes set into a hard expression.
What is going on? He demanded.
I unloaded it all, Marlene's demands, her unkind words. Noah's jaw set, he spun around to his mom. This is over, Leia's pregnant with our child. You don't get to treat her that way. Marlene protested, but Noah shut her down.
You're out if you can't respect her.
I held my breath, seeing Marlene's face fold. She grunted in agreement, and things improved for a time.
But I knew better than to expect it to last.
The rest of my pregnancy wasn't exactly a cakewalk, but Noah's principled stand gave me hope. My symptoms subsided as the months passed, and we focused on preparing for our baby. We painted the nursery a soft yellow, hung star decals on the walls, picked out a crib Noah assembled while cursing the instructions. Every kick in my belly felt like a promise, a new start, our family. But Marlene's presence hung over us like a storm cloud over the Colorado mountains. She'd be polite one day, then snap the next for dishes in the sink. I chewed on my tongue, not wishing to distress Noah, who balanced his teacher's schedule and fretting over me. At last the day arrived. After long labor, I delivered our daughter, Sophie. Her faint cries filled the hospital room with happiness. Noah grasped my hand, tears welling in his eyes as we gazed at her beautiful face. We spent 2 days in the hospital, basking in every instant with our girl. When Noah took us home, I hurt from giving birth, fatigue weighing like a quilt. I just wanted to wrap my arms around Sophie and sleep. Marlene waited at the door, smile broad, eyes keen. Oh, see my granddaughter, she gushed, leaning for Sophie. She's an angel child. I smiled stiffly, holding Sophie close. Thanks, Marlene. I'm exhausted, so I'm going to sleep.
Noah nodded.
Leia's been through quite an ordeal, Mom. Sophie kept us awake all night. Can you take over so she can sleep? Marlene's smile never wavered, but I saw a glint in her eyes. Of course, dear. I'll babysit Sophie. You go get some rest. My instinct screamed to hold Sophie tight, but Noah's reassuring nod convinced me to let go. Just for a couple of hours, I said, handing Sophie over. I fell into bed, agony running through my stitches, and slept like a rock. I woke up to Sophie's screams ringing out across the house, piercing and frantic. My heart missed a beat. I staggered out of bed, my pain ignored, and made my way to Marlene's room. The door was shut. I knocked, shouting, Marlene, is Sophie all right? No response. Sophie's screams became more anguished.
Panic ripped my chest. I hammered on the door.
Marlene,
Open the door.
Finally, after an eternity, the door creaked open, barely, so that I could see Marlene's face, pale and expressionless.
What's wrong, Leia?
I'm taking care of it.
Taking care of it?
She's crying. Let me see her. I pushed at the door, but Marlene kept it closed. Not until you know your place, she said, her voice low. You can't have Noah do everything for you. There's dishes to do, floors to sweep, bathrooms a disaster.
Do the work, then you can have her. My blood chilled. You're joking, right? I just gave birth. Hand me my daughter.
Marlene's gaze slitted. The longer you stand there fighting, the longer she wails. And don't mention it to Noah, or it'll be worse for you. Fear smothered me, choking out my rage. Sophie's wails cut like knives into my heart. I didn't know why Marlene was acting this way, but I couldn't endanger Sophie's safety. Fine, I breathed, sobs running down my face.
What do I have to do?
Marlene enumerated her requirements. Dishes, vacuuming, bathroom scrubbing. And have it done before Noah returns home, she tacked on. I nodded, body shaking, and staggered toward the kitchen, agonizing with each movement. I took painkillers to prevent from falling apart, crying as I washed dishes, frightened for Sophie, not brave enough to cross Marlene.
All I could think was, how did it come to this?
I washed the bathroom floor, shaking hands, tears congealing with soap water. Each motion made me cringe in pain, but Sophie's screams remained in my head, urging me onward. I had vacuumed the living room, washed a mountain of dishes, and was now on my hands and knees, cleaning tiles like my life depended on it.
Perhaps it did.
Marlene's threat lingered over me, her soft, sinister voice telling me not to tell Noah, or she would make things worse. I didn't know what she was capable of, and that frightened me most. All I wanted was Sophie in my arms, safe. I was half done cleaning when the front door swung open. My heart halted. Noah wasn't due home yet. He'd told me he'd be at school late, grading papers. But there he was, shouting, Leia, Sophie, I came home early to surprise you. His voice was warm, urgent, but cut short when he spotted the bathroom light. He entered and stopped dead, eyes wide as he beheld me curled up on the floor, crying, clutching a sponge.
Leia, what the fuck are you doing? You just gave birth.
He knelt down, hands gentle but insistent, yanking me up. I collapsed, the weight overwhelming me. Noah enveloped me, petting my hair as I sobbed harder than ever. Babe, come on, he whispered.
What is it?
I could hardly get the words out, shaking with voice as I recounted it all to him. Marlene closing Sophie in her bedroom, her ultimatums, her threats. Noah's expression changed from concern to anger, his eyes burning in a way I'd never seen before. He didn't say anything, merely assisted me onto the couch and stormed to Marlene's door and pounded on it.
Open the door, Mom, now.
Marlene pushed open the door, her face a mask of shock.
Noah, you're home early.
I sat on the couch, shaking, Sophie's wails still ringing in my ears, my heart racing as I waited to see what would happen next.
Noah didn't believe me.
Don't play dumb, he said, voice trembling with rage. I know what you did to Leia, keeping Sophie trapped, making her clean.
What's wrong with you?
Marlene's mask cracked, but she attempted to deflect. I was teaching her responsibility. She's got to learn to be a wife and mother. Noah's voice rose, sharp as a blade.
Teaching her by torturing her?
She's recovering from childbirth, and Sophie's a newborn. You had no right to use her like that. I stood in the hallway, clutching the wall for support, heart pounding. Marlene's voice turned defensive. I'm your mother, Noah. I know what's best for this family. Noah cut her off, words like steel. Not now. This is where I belong, my family. You've reached too far, and I'm finished. Pack your bags, you're gone. Marlene gasped, eyes flicking to mine. Leia orchestrated this, didn't she?
She's playing you against me.
Noah moved a step closer, voice low and absolute.
No, Mom, you did this.
You're only not on the sidewalk because Leia pleaded with me to give you opportunities.
But this is inexcusable.
He moved past her, carefully picking up Sophie from her crib. Her wails relaxed as he held her, then passed her to me. I hugged her tightly, sobs pouring as I kissed her small forehead, her heat anchoring me. Noah stepped back toward Marlene. You have one day to get out somewhere else. Don't push me. Marlene's face collapsed, but I didn't feel any sympathy, just gratitude that Sophie was out of harm's way and Noah was beside me. As he walked me to our room, I knew it would never be the same. For the first time in months, I was able to breathe. From that day on, Noah never faltered. He was my rock, but I saw the agony in his eyes. Kicking out his own mother wasn't easy, even after she'd been cruel to us. I wanted Marlene gone, but a part of me still hurt for the family I'd longed we could be. But Sophie was my world now, and I'd do anything to defend her.
Noah felt the same.
A few days later, he sat me down, face stern but untroubled. Leah, what she did to you and Sophie isn't only cruel, it's dangerous. I'm suing her, she needs to be held accountable.
My stomach rolled.
Noah, a lawsuit against my mom?
That's huge.
He grasped my hands, grip firm. You and Sophie are my world, no one gets to hurt you like that, no one at all, not even her. She hurt our daughter, there's no way we can let this pass.
His words washed my guilt away.
I'd spent so long keeping the peace, swallowing pain in order not to fight. But Noah was right. Marlene had crossed the line. I nodded, tears in my eyes.
Let's go for it. Noah acted quickly.
He'd set up baby cams throughout our Boulder house before Sophie and I returned from the hospital, a measure after Marlene's previous actions. Those captured everything, her imprisoning Sophie in the room, her ultimatums, my angst.
The proof was unmistakable.
Marlene called Noah when the court papers were delivered, voice shaking.
How could you do this to me? I'm your mother. Noah didn't blink.
You harmed my wife and child. You made your decision. She pleaded, vowing to reform, but Noah refused.
You had your chance. Now accept the truth.
The court hearing proceeded at a fast pace. Marlene was arraigned on a misdemeanor charge of endangering Sophie and harassing me. The judge wasn't censorious, denouncing her behavior as callous and irresponsible. She was ordered to spend 6 months in jail and pay a $1,000 fine. Handcuffed and crying in the courtroom, Marlene appeared tiny, shattered. I experienced a feeling of both relief and sadness, not for her pain, but for the family we never would be. Noah gave my hand a squeeze, his determination unwavering. He had fought for us, and I felt really safe. Life after the trial wasn't simple, but it was ours. Sophie regained her strength, her laughter filling our house with light, echoing off the walls of our small Boulder home. Noah and I leaned against each other, re-establishing trust Marlene had destroyed. My mom phoned regularly from her Denver home, offering advice, sending Sophie small knit booties. Our friends came around to support us, bringing casseroles, babysitting while we caught our breath. Marlene did her time and began therapy, sending letters of apology. I read them, but forgiveness wasn't forthcoming, not yet. When she attempted to visit once, I answered the door, voice stern. Come near us once more, and I'll have a restraining order. I disliked being cruel, but Sophie's security took priority. Our house turned back into a haven. Noah and I alternated rocking Sophie to sleep, speaking softly of the life we'd create for her. We'd hike the Flatirons on the weekends, Sophie in a carrier, her small hands clinging to the air. I resumed freelance design work, doodling logos on our kitchen table, the Rockies shining through the window. The hurt Marlene inflicted lingered like a bruise, receding but not forgotten. But each time I caught sight of Sophie's smile or felt Noah's hug around me, I knew we were stronger. We weren't merely surviving, we were thriving, creating a future based on love. I sat on our porch one evening, Sophie slumbering in my lap, the Colorado sunset smeared with pink. I remembered the girl who'd longed for family, trusted too much. I breathed softly to her, you took care of your own. And I had, Sophie, Noah, us. I'd stood up to Marlene's cruelty, not anger, but determination, making a place where we could mend. The lesson here is that love does not equal suffering, it equals fighting for what belongs to you. Strength doesn't equal silence, it equals standing up, even when it shatters your heart. Thanks for watching Revenza Tales, where gritty stories of victory are brought to life. Smash the like button, tell your comeback stories in the comments below, and subscribe for more epic stories. Share this with friends who need a boost of courage, and I'll catch you in the next story.